Welcome today. Welcome to our topic for today, which is about gossip. As I always do, I like to start with a song, and I just hope that this will speak to you. Enjoy it. And we start in the next 1 or 2 minutes. Oh yes. Hands up, hearts broken, wide as the sky. We live too high. We live too high. Hands up, hearts open, wide as we rise. Lord, we lift your name high. Karibuni sana. Today we are going to be talking about gossip. Yes, gossip. Starting in the next 30 or 1 minute's time. Yeah? Let's enjoy this song. I really love it. Oh yes. Lord, we lift your name high. Hands up. Yes. We lift you high. We lift you high. Hearts broken, wide as the rise. Oh yes. Lift your name high. Let all the other names fade away. Oh yes. There can only be one God. Yes. And may every other thing fade away, including gossip. Fade away. Jesus, take your place. Let all the others names fade away. Come on, somebody just open up your mouth and say that. Say, let all the other names fade. Let all the other names fade away. Till there's only you. There's all names fade away. Jesus, take your place. Jesus, take your place. Oh, I love this song. I love this song, people. It really ministers to me, you know. Sometimes it's just about letting every other thing fade away. And there's just this one thing and this one person, you know. And for me, like I always like to put it, I solely depend on God. So karibuni sana on today's topic. Very interesting topic. I tell you guys, I normally just, you know, do my topics depending on the requests. So if you have anything that you have in mind, or probably an issue that you'd want me to talk about from a psychological perspective, and of course I love to intermarry my own life experiences, then please do not feel ashamed. Hit the inbox, let me know what this thing is about, and definitely I will look for a day and present it. So thank you so much for those of you who are joining in. I would just want to appreciate those of you who have gone out of their way to partner with us, the Mind Spa. You know, part of the things that I've been doing is rallying mindset and mental wellness, you know, being in this field where we try, you know, to empower people to make the right decisions in life. And the saddest thing is that sometimes the people who need these services are not able to afford them. And for me, because I consider this a ministry, a calling, for me, it's not really, I do a lot. Actually, I do free counseling services. For those of you who have reached out to me, you know I have not charged you a dime, but sometimes I do get overwhelmed, and when I'm overwhelmed, I need to bring in other experts, I need to contract other counselors, and for them, they need to put food on their table. So when I ask you to partner in kind, it's just because I really feel that we need to reach out to those who need the services, and at the end of the day, let's not peg it on whether they can afford it or cannot. If you're able to sponsor even a stranger, my till number is on the screen, so feel free to just send something small. And yeah, I always say when you drop a seed of of a blessing into someone else's life, it comes back to you 10 times. So thank you so much for those of you who have partnered in terms of just sponsoring others, and there's some of you who've really been big on sharing these videos, and I just sometimes I know I may not really mention you by name, but I just want to say that I really appreciate that you're going out of your way to just do this, spread this to other people who need it. And specifically, if you know someone who is in a dire need of mental wellness services, counseling services. I mean, we are all rounded. We do addiction services, we do marriage, couple counseling. I know it's been tough, for couples during this time when, you have to be confined in your home, but thank God the at least for the ones who are in Kenya, the hours have been stretched. But you see, a lot of the, the cracks that have been there in marriages are really coming out during this period. So if you also feel you need relationship counseling, please feel free, reach out to us. And those of you who are just single individuals who are battling with so many things in life, please reach out. Please reach out. Sometimes you just need to sit down with an expert and then get to see how your own belief systems and how you have been self-destructing. So feel free to call us. My numbers are also on the screen on our page. Just feel free anytime to reach out. So today we are talking about a very interesting topic, and when someone was telling me, oh my God, I've seen you, are you talking about me? Let me just put this out. Sometimes we when we're doing presentations, when you're talking about something, when you do your posts, even on your status, there are those of us who feel that we are talking about them specifically. That is not in my case. As I said earlier, I love to respond on the requests that you make as my audience. So today we're going to talk about this very powerful word, gossip, 6-letter word that spreads faster than any other, and as I like to put it, we are human beings. We are emotionally driven, but particularly for the women, we love to think with our heart, and the men love to assess everything with a logical approach to issues. So even as I continue engaging, you don't feel like I'm really putting the women on the spot. That is not my intention. However, being a woman, like I always say, you have to understand that I love to relate with myself, and so sometimes it comes out like there's a little bit of biasness and all that, but that is not my intention. And of late, I mean, as when I went through my inbox and I found this request, I was first of all I was like, wow, why would someone want me to talk about gossip? But you see, gossip has become one of the the most can I say influential has played a very big role, let me just put it this way, in the world of today, in the social circles of today, because it's become all about gossip. We always want to know what is happening in our celebrities' lives. We are always wanting, to find out who has dressed like what. And in a way, I feel that we have been conditioned into the world of gossip without really thinking about it. Everything that comes to us, it's about someone else. In a way, there's always that element, this and this is happening, so and so has been beaten. And of course, when we narrow this down from the society level, when we go now to the small groups that we belong to, our neighborhoods, our workplaces, in churches, gossip is there, and it keeps the world rotating. It keeps, you know, people on their feet. It's just amazing that we love to gossip. Can I just say we love to gossip? Some of us thrive on gossip, and some of us really are the ones who really, you know, drive this thing around. So let me introduce to you the art of gossip. And when I thought about this topic, it's really a very, you know, deep, can I say deep, very, you know, broad topic. So I may not be able to touch on everything, but for today, taking this as part one, I'd like to just start on the game of gossip itself and why people gossip and where this comes from. Of course, when you talk about gossip, it could be good gossip, it could be bad gossip. Ideally for today, I would like to really focus on the negative issue, because that is what affects most of us. That is what has put some of us in depression. That is what has made most of us, you know, have this kind of hatred for people around us. And I'm hoping that by the end of this presentation, that most of you will be able to think about your own defense mechanisms. You'll think about the hurt that has been created by people who have talked about you, probably in a negative way, and you'll be able to, you know, come back to yourself and, you know, make the right decisions, as opposed to, you know, carrying a lot of bile with you. I always say what you don't really, you know, get out of your system, sorry, will kill you. So today I want to introduce the three maybe characters that are involved in this game of gossip. Now, there's always the one who starts the gossip, and this person comes from a place of personality issues. There must be something that is pegged to them that, you know, enables them to be able to quickly, you know, want to propagate gossip, for lack of a better word. All right, so many, you know, some of us, I beg your pardon, sorry, some of us, you know, are very interesting. And of course, if you, for those of you who are joining me for the first time, if you check out all the other videos that I've done, I've really been big, you know, on personality and behavioral traits. And there are people who are just basically predisposed to gossip based on their personality. And now, one of the phrases that I like to emphasize on is the issue of hurt. Hurting people hurt others. If you've ever been hurt and you've never worked on that bit, you have never healed, I can assure you, you will always be on the journey or on the path to hurt other people. You know, you cannot hurt other people if what is in you is love. All right. So one thing that, you know, I'm always, you know, I'm emphasizing on, even as we deal with people who have split personality, people who are narcissistic, you know, people who have, you know, issues, you know, that are not necessarily very positive, you know, is like you have to understand their history. Where are they coming from? Ideally, if what is inside you is a lot of hurt, if the emotions that are inside you is, you know, are full of bile and all the negativity, definitely that is what you're going to give out. Okay, so one way of identifying the people who always are the ones to start these gossip or whatever cycles are people who are hurting. The second thing is that they might be having self-esteem, low self-esteem. You know, women, we are, and I said, allow me to use women as an example because I am one of them. I have walked that path, and of course I have gossiped. Oh, I am not perfect. I have gossiped. Even counselors gossip, okay? Psychologists gossip. Yes, we are not perfect, but you know, at the end of the day, if you have a low self-esteem, this will come out, because what you're doing, you know, the intention of when, you know, of starting any vibe, any negativity about someone else is, you know, you're looking for affirmation from the people around you. It's an attention-seeking kind of behavior, because if you have an issue with someone, or if you have concerns about someone, why wouldn't you go rightly to them and ask them about it? Why wouldn't you want to confirm with them first before just going and, you know, sneaking a word or two to the other person, and, you know, creating this vicious cycle where one thing, you know, is, you know, it's like a broken telephone. You tell this person this thing and it goes to the other person, then they add their own things, they add their own exaggeration, then it goes to another person. Healthy people tackle things in a very healthy way. By the time you're choosing to pick up information and, you know, put it out there, and then end up playing a victim, then that shows me that there's a problem with yourself. There's something in you that is not functioning well. There's a sort of like low self-esteem. And this is very interesting that people who have low self-esteem are always chasing for affirmation. They're always looking for, that phone call of like, yeah, did you hear? Yes, hey, I heard, and the confirmations and all that. And in that way, it's a way of trying to lure people and get attention to you. And people who have low self-esteem do a lot of funny things, let me tell you. And probably one of these fine days I'll need to touch on that. Some of the things, that make us behave the way we behave, and coming from a place of low self-esteem, because attention can make you do so many things. The outbursts that we see out there, even in the WhatsApp groups, the social media forums, where someone just comes and types stuff, and you're thinking, why did you have to bring this here? Why couldn't you hold on, or probably, seek another way of sorting this issue? These are attention seeking behavior. And unfortunately, during that time, there's a lot of damage that is caused, because what is the intention when you go out there and probably, pick up on a story which could be true, which could not be true. People thrive on lies, and you put it out there without any confirmation, and then, play the victim. So there's always the mastermind, and this is the first character I'm introducing in this presentation. The mastermind, the person who crafts these words, the person who comes up with this juicy story. They give you the vibe that you want to hear. They will do it, using any way. They will have their outburst. They will come to you, probably just, people are funny. When I listen to stories that have even been brought to the counseling room, about this person who went to this other person, and the motive was not good. You think of funny ways of getting to people, and in that 1 or 2 minutes where you get the attention, it becomes your space, for pouring out a lot of toxicity about someone else. So this mastermind crafts words. They look for the perfect timing, the right place, or the right groups, and they just pour venom. And this, without because when in the social media platform, they, of course, the people are there, it's a group set up, and there's obviously, by the time someone is posting about something, of course there are people in that group, so they're bound to be reactions, and the reactions could be negative or positive. So the mastermind is the one who, first of all, starts this thing, spreads this venom, in whatever way. And then the rest, the two other parties that I'm going to talk about, will receive it and then decide on what to do based on their archetypes, or based on their personality, or even their moral standing. All right. So the mastermind is a very, could I say, they could be intelligent, they could be, suffering, as I said, from their own personality issue. But the thing is that the intention is not pure. I say, if, and with a lot of respect, that if you really love, to see people thrive, you would not put, some things on forums. All right. So these are the people to look out for, the masterminds, because, we end up being recruitees of their mindsets. By the time someone is, propagating something about someone else, then in a way, when you're calling to find out, when you're calling to get information, the finer details, in so many ways, then you have tapped into their belief systems. You have tapped, you automatically become the slave of their mindsets. All right. Then we have I talked about the mastermind, who later on, of course, plays the victim. And then there's the, what we call the judge. And when I talk about the human mind, in my earlier videos, I love to talk about the 3 components, and that the id, which is the biological component of a human being. There's the ego, and then there's the super ego. Now, the super ego is the moral functioning part of the human mind. So it tells you what is right and what is wrong. Now, ideally, in every setup, there are people who become
become like the prosecutors, they're the ones who decide this is wrong, this is not right, this is, they give in their views, and they don't take really a social standing, they don't like to take sides, but they take the information, they are able to analyze, and in maturity, they are able to respond on the issue. Now, a lot of the times, and in today's society, because we fear being criticized, we fear, for, when people probably, point a finger at us, we don't really necessarily do the right things, okay? Maturity is very important. Wisdom is even, is even better, when you can be able to take up issues with wisdom and question. A lot of us do not question things, so we end up, as I said, being victims of the mastermind, okay? So we become the third component of this game, and this, the game of gossip, where we become recruitees. All right, we become recruitees to this thing because, I took up a glass, I poured something, a funny liquid in it, and I gave you to drink. Why didn't you ask me what this drink is all about? How do you just take something and process it and even use it to create something else? Ideally, when there's issues, when there's gossip spreading out there, it is your role as a human being, it is your role as an individual, it is your role as even a child of God to take this information and ask, why is this person telling me? Why is this person giving me this glass of water that seems to be contaminated? What is their motive? Okay? What is their motive? Try and understand where they're coming from. Ask questions, seek clarifications, because if you do not, then automatically you have become a recruitee. And why a recruitee? Recruitees are people who take information, this juicy gossip, and then they, use it, as a platform or a podium to spread more rumors about these things that are not really, confirmed or necessarily true. So if you're a human being, you have enemies. And if you have enemies, you have to be gossiped about. If you've never been gossiped about, if you don't have enemies, then I don't think you're a human being, because these are part of the day-to-day challenges that we face as humans, and especially in organizations, leave alone even the neighborhoods. In organization, it just takes one person who does not like the other to start a rumor, and when they do, the office now changes to a very toxic environment. I'm here to encourage most of you to sort of like recondition yourself so that you're able to ask valid questions. Don't be the kind of people who push others into counseling rooms just because you started something, you started a rumor about this person, and eventually they are not able to cope in life. They end up committing suicide. We've seen cases of people who go up on social media platforms and they just post and they're like, I can't take this anymore. I feel people don't respect me. I feel that people have judged me based on my history. I feel like, this current environment that I'm living in is very toxic. And guys, let me just put this as is without any, censoring of words. I am done. It has been real, and see you on the other side. And thirdly, for the ones that I have watched, let me tell you, it is when you look at the comments, we are a sick society. So many people, you find people posting and telling, you're wasting our time. Can you do this? Can you just finish up with what you're doing? Like, you're encouraging someone else to commit suicide. That is so wrong. That is so wrong. If you ever find yourself in a space where you're telling someone, cry, you're rejoicing over other people's failures and downfalls, you need to really have a meeting with yourself. You really need to have a meeting with yourself, because deep down in you, your internal environment is not okay. Your psychological self is not fine. You're hurting, and without knowing, you're deflecting this to other people. You are mirroring this to other people. We always say that any person, any mastermind has a secretary, and this secretary is, behaves like, they are oblivious of the fact that whatever they are doing is wrong. You see, a secretary, the person who plays the role of a secretary, is the one who takes notes for the mastermind. and they will act in capacity, in a vengeance. You know, it's like a child of the mastermind. They are sort of like, they share characteristics, but this one has a lot of rage in them. So what do? They act, you know, on behalf of the mastermind, and what they do is to try to bring out their muscle, their emotional muscle of hatred and all that, you know, and showing it and flexing it around, you know, without knowing it. You know, they become the worst. You know, the mastermind, they actually outdo the mastermind, because, you know, it's a game of manipulation. And because, you know, there's the mastermind, and there's the person who's, you know, what I like to call the secretary. They take this thing and what do? They put it out there, you know, but there's normally some gifts attached to that, you know. And any gift, you know, there's always I don't know what word I would use. I'm looking for the best word, but it's like, you know, the mastermind conditions their secretary, their main recruitee, you know. So you get deals with them, you know. I'll give you this, you know, I'm going to, you know, allow you to be part of my business deal, you know. I'm gonna show all the people out there and affirm you in terms of like, you're my inner person, you're my friend, you know. And you know, you find that you're getting the niceries from this person. So normally it is a game of manipulation. And remember, most of the people who start these gossips and all that, they're coming from a place of where they have abnormal functionings, you know, and abnormal psychological disorders, like, you know, a split personality, you know, attention deficit disorder, narcissism, you know, and obsessive compulsive disorder, you know. And I will emphasize this, you know, most of the people who gossip a lot come from a place of jealousy. It's about, you know, I want what you have, but I can't get it, and I can't just stand you, you know. There's also the natural pace, you know, the natural space of being a human being, where you just, you know, act up, you know. You cannot love this person, and you can't lie about it. So you basically don't know how to say, I want what you have, or I can't stand the fact that you're doing better. So what happens is that now you turn against that person, and you try to get the attention of so many other people around you, because when you propagate this gossip, then eventually it spreads like wildfire. People, I wouldn't put it in any better way. My motto in life is, as long as you're gossiping about me, I will give you your space. I will give you your space. Definitely, you will never see me around you. But because a gossiper is a backstabber, what I always say, you have to take your place in my life. And your place is right behind my back. And the question that I'm putting to you basically is, how do you handle gossip? Let's talk more about this. How do you handle gossip? Because most of us have weak personalities, and we end up being, you know, victims of manipulation, where we operate in fear. You know, I don't want, you know, to process this. I don't want to take sides, you know. And we take the archetypes, and you look at, and I think in the next videos that I'm going to be doing, I'm going to talk about the archetypes and attaching them to this game of gossip, you know, so that you can understand that in every setup, other than the mastermind and his or her secretary, and then of course the people they've been able to recruit, is in that group of recruitees, there are several personality types, you know. Archetypes, I like to call them archetypes, where you have people who play witches, people who play, you know, like heroes, people who play the divine child, you know, people who just take up basically, you know, different roles, like, you know, a giant, you know, the giant who will, you know, fight for the weak. So my question to you is, how do you handle gossip from where you stand? And the other question that I'd like to pose to you is, why would you tolerate gossip? You know, why would you allow things that are irrelevant, things that don't grow you, to come into your personal space? One thing that I know is, when you're working on yourself in terms of personal development, you look for like-minded people. And if your like-minded people is a person who is, you know, full of a lot of bile, and every time you meet, you talk about other people, then I think you're in the wrong group. you know. From, you know, try and step out of this culture of, you know, being in a space of wanting to gossip about people. Instead, whenever you find yourself in groups, be the one to give out the positive vibe. If someone is going through issues, be there, not necessarily, you know, to go and bring and take to people, you know, gossip. Learn to understand people, what they need at a particular time. And I can assure you, in life, gossip has never made someone successful, okay? Gossip has never made someone really thrive. You know, in the end, if what you give is negativity, then that is the very sword that is going to kill you. All right. So it's very important that you create a culture, and this is my recommendation, of being in spaces where when you get, you know, people around you, you grow them, you motivate them. Okay. Give positive vibe. That is what I love preaching. You know, mental wellness. Be the kind of person who uplifts others. Be the kind of person who encourages person. Because we always have issues. Each of us, even myself, we have, you know, issues that we struggle with. But there's nothing as beautiful, you know, as getting a shoulder to lean on. All right, that is very, very important, you know. So how does the process of gossip look like? How does it look like, you know? And you know, one of the things, you know, I'm an addiction counselor, and you know, I look at gossip as, you know, the same way of an addiction process. All right, so there's always a predeceived, you know, a pre-contemplation, you know, an idea that I want. Let's just use my name as an example. I want to bring Venus down, so I sit down. She will know who I am. Okay, she will know. So I think of what I need to say. I need to do this. You know, you craft your words and everything, and then now when time comes, as I said, at the right place, at the right space, you release venom. Now when you release venom, this venom is normally like a drug. Ideally, when it, you know, as we synthesize things, you know, our ears take in a lot of things, but what we listen to, when you listen to music, you know, it has the ability to make you get so excited. So it's the same thing with words. All right, so words have power. So once you release those things out there, it becomes like a drug that makes people go high. And why you find people are always calling each other, you know, to find out, hey, what happened, you know, it's like, you know, you're looking for more information, but it's like, you know, it's more and more of more doses of this drug, you know. It's like, you know, gossip sort of like mimics the neurotransmission of the brain. So you find that people, you know, become so hyped about this juicy story, you know, and there's resharing, you know, just like what we do on social media. We reshare, we call people, you know, and then when this is all said and done, you know, we go on a flat line. It's like, wow, you know, and there's this feeling of depression because at the end of the day, we don't have more information. So we hit like a plateau, but we still want, you know, your brain is always reminding you, I want more and more gossip. And for most of us, we become what I call chronic gossipers. Like, this is our lifestyle. You're always seated, you know, you're always looking for groups to join that are full of gossip. That is your kind of lifestyle, okay? But I want to just ask you, how has it helped you? By gossiping, have you bought land? Have you bought, you know, how has, you know, gossiping, you know, about people or being that person who spreads gossip, how has it helped you? All right, so for me, really, it's not to bring out, you know, to try and really critique, for lack of a word. As I said, this profession that I am in is a helping profession, and when I do these videos, it's not for any other reason but to challenge you to raise your standards when it comes to how you do things and how you know, relate with people and how you just, you know, look at life. Remember, your mindset is very, very critical when you're making decisions. Your mindset is very, very critical in predetermining the kind of behavior you exhibit whenever you're around people or social circles. So it is this mindset that I am very big on, and today I just want to leave you with a parting shot. Okay, if gossip has ever, you know, made you rich, then go ahead and continue propagating or, you know, pushing for, you know, the negativity. But if it hasn't, I think it's time for you to change. It is time for you to change. Why? We only live once. And I always say, for those of us who believe there is a heaven, one day when we get, on the other side, to the other side, you'll be asked, if I gave you 50 years, accounting for it, what did you do for the better part of this life? Would your answer be, I used to talk about people. I'm the one who used to scrutinize and propagate lies about other people. Yeah? If that would be your answer, then it really makes me sad. But if we can work on changing how we look at life and how we are dealing with life issues, then I would say, this would be the beginning, to a successful future. So thank you so much, guys, for joining in. Let us interact more. And like I said, for those of you who want to partner, either in kind, that is, sponsoring people who need these services, paying for their services, please feel free to reach out. For those of you who have already done this, I am really, really grateful. I know I have sent enough of you certificates of partnership. I really, really appreciate that you can be able to help me in this calling and in this, journey of, trying to help as many people as I can to change their mindsets. So God bless you. Have a blessed week. Remember, I look forward to your feedback. Please let me know what you would like me to talk about in the next episodes. God bless you and take care. Bye-bye.